So thank you guys for taking the time. We have Sega and we have Duncan here from the team at Lunatics Token. So again, this is a fair launch that we called out on the 20th of July. The team had a fairly low soft cap actually on it, and we're able to raise 1,091 BNB total at the end of things. So it was pretty impressive to see. They formed a big community so far, and they've had a great launch, great start to things so far. So again, for anybody unfamiliar with this one, Lunatics Token is obviously heavily community driven. It's meant to be, a hyper-deflationary token. Obviously, it's based on Binance. The focal point here is obviously that a percentage of the tax is to reward holders in Luna Classic. There's also a burn that occurs within the taxation of Luna Classic, as well as a auto burn of Lunatics Token. So there's a few different mechanisms built into the 10% tax on this one that they're able to utilize to grow this one. Again, in terms of the team itself, we have Sega, we have Duncan, and they'll be able to walk through a little bit more about their background when they go through the introduction. They're planning to release a 2,000-piece collection series for Lunatics NFTs. The contract on this one was built up by Cracovia, so I'm sure you guys are familiar with his reputation, his profile in the space. So that's just a little bit of a background in terms of the project. And again, it's been only a few days since they've launched, and it's been a great initial start. So the team's really just trying to build up from there, continue to grow the community, continue to have people connect and see the value. I mean, obviously, with what happened with the depegging back in May, that did cause a lot of projects to pop up. I mean, I will say the way that the team has gone about structuring and building their community so far, I think they've been able to really positively impact some of those people potentially and take some percentage of that community who is impacted and try and kind of push them over into this new project and build things up from there. So again, I'm going to throw it over to you guys to go through a bit more of an introduction, but it's been a great initial start. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day, because I know you guys have been super busy since even before launch. So I'm going to kick it over to you, introduce your background, then we'll jump a bit more into the project.
Yeah, sure. No, I appreciate the words. So I mean, Lunatics was kind of brought together by a group of people that kind of had enough of the space as investors. Some of us had worked on some projects in some kind of way. But yeah, I mean, not so much working on bad projects, but normally kind of running into people with bad intentions. So like as an investor, we've paid over many times, with rug pulls and all kind of things going on, just people like easily walking away from a project once the going gets tough and kind of leaving investors like wondering what's going on. So through all of them experiences, we kind of came together. We wanted to start a project and kind of iron out all them pet hates and things that really bothered us as investors. And that's how the team basically was pulled together. And then the concept of the behind Lunatics was obviously, like you mentioned, with the depegging back in May, the devastation obviously that caused like a huge community, and kind of like people who are just losing faith in crypto in general. So we came up with the idea to kind of set up a project in our own right, but also to kind of help another community and kind of restore some faith in not just crypto, but just in, just people in general, because, it doesn't take too many people to ruin a project. It could just be one person, and I'm sure we've all experienced that. And so the idea basically came around to obviously with a huge supply that was created, and while they were minting the tokens during the crash, their task now as a community, and there seems to be like a togetherness with that community, that there's no resistance. The whole community wants to burn. So we felt it would be a great opportunity to tap into that and the value of that huge community in one thing. And so we've kind of created this project, and our kind of key utility to begin with is obviously to help burn through that supply. But obviously the crypto space is so huge, then you don't want to just isolate yourself to one community. So that's where the kind of the rewards program of the project comes in. So obviously we give rewards in Luna Classic. So even if you really haven't got a tie to Luna to begin with, if you see the value in how much positivity, the size of a project that could be created off the back of them, then you see the value, obviously, with the market cap increasing, the volume increasing, and obviously the rewards. So as you collect them rewards, you kind of get a vested interest in the Luna community and the burning of Luna. So it kind of brings it full circle. So that was the kind of concept behind it. And like I said, the team, how they all come together. So yeah, I mean, initially that's how it all started and the idea. I mean, from last week we've been planning this for a few months now. And like you said, with the pre-sale, we kind of did set a low soft cap we were very positive about the project, but you never know in this kind of market how it was going to go. But I think the way it's been received, and obviously the huge pre-sale that we managed to achieve, and obviously since launching, I think we're floating around a 4 million market cap from a 800 and a 40k starting market cap. And we've been very steady there. We've hit highs of like 7 million as well. So, and the community that's just being built around the project already, it kind of feels a little bit different to other projects that I've been in, because I've obviously been an investor, and you kind of get a different feeling when a community's kind of got a cause to get behind, and that togetherness that brings, and the strength of that. You know, you can definitely feel it in the social platforms that we're on, and the TG is very active, very community driven, very positive. You know, I think people kind of get that feeling that it's a start of something more than just a crypto project. So, I mean, I don't know if any of the other guys want to add to that, but yeah, I definitely feel there's something special kind of being built. And obviously that is just based on the community that's coming together. And obviously that's our platform to then go on and build bigger and better things. But yeah, I mean, the start we've had has been totally like off the charts, like amazing.
I mean, I have to agree. I mean, this is something that we didn't expect. This is something that, you know, as you say, Sega, we came together through a bad experience, and we've built something up to try and bring some sort of positivity back into the crypto world. And it's exploded beyond all our expectations, and you know, we're incredibly grateful to everyone who's you know, sort of seen us, who's invested in us, who's taken notice of us. And this is an incredible journey, which is just beginning.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. I mean, and the people that have come behind the project, like Duncan saying, like even Duncan himself, like he's an influence on on Twitter. You know, he's got a reputation to put on the line, and he's jumped on board with the project like before we've even started, and kind of put that reputation on the line. The team again, you know, and anybody that's kind of like reached out to kind of help with the project, they're happy to put their name to it, and that's exactly what we wanted to achieve, that kind of honesty and transparency that you can't unfortunately take for granted in this space. So the team's completely doxed, obviously KYC audited, no one's kind of hiding in the shadows, everyone's very visible, very vocal. The kind of stuff that, you know, when you go into a project, if you see it, it kind of makes you feel kind of comfortable, whereas, you know, a lot of the time, you know, people hide behind profiles, you know, fake names, and I mean, see, it's not my name, but
that's true. But I'd like to apologize quickly for my profile picture on the Lunatics token website, and I hope it doesn't scare too many people away.
Yeah, so yeah, like Duncan said, it's all about, we wanted to achieve something. I mean, it sounds a bit corny, like you want to do something refreshing, and how honesty, transparency, and some dedication to a project without giving up on something, it is can be seen like that. But unfortunately, in the space that we all know and love, you can't take none of that for granted. You know, it's so easy in this space for someone to once it's going gets tough to kind of give up and kind of let the project die, and with no regard to the investor. So our main, I mean, it's a unique selling point, but it is unique in the space, is to really focus on that honesty and the transparency, and then, you know, to build off a community that feels and pulls in the same direction. And then obviously all the utilities that we've got planned, you know, that's in the pipeline. But what we want to do first is really put together a community that feels like they've got a cause and want to be a part of this. And already in just a week, you know, we've got like 5,000 members in our TG, real members, you know, and they're all kind of, you know, pulling in the same direction. They feel exactly how the rest of the community feels, and they're doing everything they can to send this project to where we honestly believe it could get to.
I guess within like the next couple of weeks, what are you guys really going to be pushing over there from a community perspective? Whether it's, you know, a contest, you guys have some form of referral system that you've worked in over there, or I know you guys obviously have those burn mechanisms that I think we could probably jump into a little bit during the AMA, and kind of how those will be utilized throughout the life of the project. So yeah, just maybe the next couple of weeks, maybe what the community can really get excited for.
Yeah, sure. I mean, already with Brothers jumping on board as a partner, like a full partnership now, we're heavily invested in trying to push this project. I mean, we've already done some serious marketing already. We've just kind of laid out another like $90,000 in marketing for the upcoming week, and, you know, that's rolling out as and when we speak. I mean, there's billboards and all sorts of already up and running. We're in Vegas, we're on SpaceX already. So everything, obviously, the platform that we had with the huge pre-sale has allowed us to kind of expedite these things and get them going far quicker than we would have expected. But they were ready and already in the pipeline, so very easy to kind of activate because the funding's there. Competitions, we've already had competitions. The burns obviously are very important to the lunar community. We've already burnt 150 million. If I quickly just show you now, just before I came on, I did, let me just find this now. I did do another 150 million burn. So we've now burned 300 million tokens. So that kind of takes us in such a short space of time, and just to show what kind of effect we're going to have on the lunar community, and how that's going to achieve to try and get as many of them on board as possible, and understand people kind of have skepticism with projects like this to begin with. But we've kind of done everything we can, and it's only a matter of time before they actually realise, yeah, all right, these guys are for real. They're doing what they say they do, and we've already achieved 300 million tokens burnt of Lunar. And that takes us up to second, just behind the MEX exchange. So, and they've been doing it for a couple of months now, and that's an exchange doing that, and they're at 534 million tokens they burn. So, coming this Sunday, we're going to burn another 250 million tokens, and going to take first place on the top burners of Lunar. So, I mean, we're taking big steps to try and, you know, onboard that community, not just the community, like, because we're just trying to take advantage. There's no way. We believe in wanting to burn through that supply. We believe in wanting to kind of restore some faith in the community in general. And by bringing the community that's in need of something that's got a real cause, then everyone can really feel a part of it. Like I said, the marketing rollout is immense over the next 10 days, with Brothers helping us and greatly with that. Yeah, there's loads of stuff. We've already got the Rubik's multi-chain on our website, so people can buy cross-chain merch coming up. We've got our NFTs, like we said, that are due to come out in a couple of weeks with utility of being able to stake them. And obviously our staking platform as well. So our initial rollout of utility and kind of our plan as you know, I think we've nailed it so far in what we're trying to do and what we're trying to achieve. And like I said, it's only been 6 days now since we've launched. So
6 days, and it's
yeah. I mean, the community are properly excited because they've never, like, not never seen, but you know, they they see that how hard the team's working, and the rollout of everything that's been on point is coming out as and when we say we're kind of sticking to our guns and achieving what we set out to do. And I think the community appreciate that, and you can sense that in the chats and all the social platforms that are like growing every day. So yeah, I mean, it's all positive. I mean, I haven't got a crystal ball. We can't guarantee success, but dedication and the team working hard with the community to push it, then that's definitely something we can guarantee.
That's a great response, and obviously being able to take the top spot on that list, like you said, should hopefully kind of draw the allure of some of those maybe Luna members who, like you said, are just really waiting for projects to show them something different, to give them that reason to jump in and want to be a part. So, keep pushing on that side of things. And I think it's, again, it's more of a trickle down effect, right? It takes time. It takes touch points before, people just kind of jump in, especially with what happened, right? Like you guys were part of that, right? Like that was one of the most globally covered events in crypto, and not for, a good reason, right? We've had projects that have garnered a lot of global attention for good things, but with what happened with that, and then with, Do Kwon and kind of the after effects and stuff, and some of those tweets, and the, kind of looking back at some of the things he had previously said, and it just became a very negative space. I know myself, I spent a lot of time on Twitter around when that happened, and I kind of went down that rabbit hole once or twice, going through the thread on thread of tweets, and it's just like, oh my God, there's so much happening here. So again, it's just a great starting point for you guys, and I love to see the initial response. And I think, like you guys mentioned, once you show them certain things, they're going to be more willing to jump in. Once somebody jumps in, maybe they tell a few former friends from that same community that, it's a good vibe, and it just kind of happens over time. So,
yeah. I mean, like I said, like the last 6 days, we can already see that kind of effect happening. Early days, it's always going to be tough trying to convince a community that you're there for the right reason with good intention. And only time and following through in what you promise is gonna get them round to your way of thinking. And we understand that. Some people are willing to jump in a little bit earlier, and just seeing what we're doing, I think we kind of convince them. They go on to convince others. Getting that number 1 spot, like we're not trying to like compete with these other burn mechanisms. Like we support any kind of burn as long as it's legitimate with like a good intention. Then we're happy to support and happy to even work with other burn initiatives. And obviously we want to inspire other burn initiatives as well to help that community. So yeah, I mean, it's just like you said, a trickle effect. Like we're reaching out to people. I think once we take number 1 spot and kind of start stretching away, then people may start reaching out to us to try and partner up. It's already kind of happening already this week, but I'm sure that's just gonna blow up even further, and it becomes easier to talk to people about the project because we've been around for a while, but we've kept our promises, and it just becomes an easier sell in general.
I wanted to I don't want to get dates or timelines or anything like that, but I would love to understand kind of the functionality of the utility that you guys are hoping to bring in. I know you touched on the NFT collection. So is that something that is going to be purchased? Like how are you going to go about the purchase of that? Is it going to be done through Native? Is it going to be also, could you maybe purchase through Luna Classic? Is it going to be specific to maybe a BNB, or I wanted to kind of jump into the NFTs first.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, we'd like to do Native, and then obviously they've got their own staking platform, so where you can stake your NFTs. The staking platform as well, we're working with Voga right now to get the final details on that. But timescale wise, we're hoping for it to be ready in the next 2 to 3 weeks as well. But yeah, anything we can do so we are kind of like our utilities, whatever we kind of create, are all going to first of all contribute to the burn in some kind of way. And secondly, like we want to try and create where our token is the native token in these kind of utilities. So we want to be that kind of mothership kind of, and expand that way. So yeah, I mean the intentions are there. The community's already started. As far as developing the utilities, Procovia and like the team behind that are working hard. And all we can do while we wait for them is obviously build a community that's ready to accept that. And obviously, you know, the hold account, I'm not too sure about the hold account. I think it definitely needs updating on BSC scan. It's been a bit laggy for the past 2 days. Of like, I get different hold accounts every time we look. But yeah, so obviously for all them things to kind of be accepted, we want to kind of reach the kind of hold accounts that so you know the NFTs as well, 2,000 of them. We want that to be well received by our community, and obviously reward our community as much as we can in native tokens as well. I mean, I don't know if 17 wanted to jump in with, you know, he's more of the techie.
No, I'm fine. You explained everything just well.
I sometimes go on. I know the people that follow us around from the community, from like AMA to AMA and all these VCs, they must be like seriously bored of this like repeated kind of conversation. But yeah, I'm just all for the good. We're trying to obviously create some awareness for the project, and yeah, appreciate any time we can get in some great core groups just like this.
Well, I mean, you guys have like I said, it was cool to get that experience to hang out with you guys on launch, because a few new faces for myself, and just the vibe in that VC was awesome. I got to hang out for an hour, and I was just kind of on mute a lot of the time listening, and it was really cool to see what you've built up, and the positivity that people had towards the project, and it wasn't even launched yet, right? And again, that's another layer to this, right? Is sometimes projects will have extremely successful pre-sales, but people buy in just trying to wait and to sell in the early stages. But you guys have extended the hype that you built in the early pre-sale to the launch, and I think that's what's been able to keep the positivity going and keep that vibe so high in your own group.
Yeah, I mean, we all know how important a community can be to a project and how powerful it can be. You know, a community can carry a project from no utility to, you know, a token, more than a meme token, you know, great. So it's, you know, they're very powerful, especially if they come together. There's a togetherness, a reason for being there. It always helps, like a cause. And yeah, as long as they don't feel let down in any kind of way, that feeling can only transcend into, you know, and take that into a community that can really push this token to the next level. And we honestly believe that to be the case here. Like, we feel everything about the project, from the team to the way it's all started, the people that have come in to help the project. It's all kind of led to, you know, 6 days of amazingness, and just that, like I said, that feeling when you kind of feel like it's something just a little bit different. Now, I'm not saying we're a token with like huge utility and it's, you know, off the charts and something that, you know, never seen before. No, it's probably not going to start like that. It's starting with, you know, a team that's dedicated, a kind of set of utilities that, you know, with the burning and the rewarding and trying to turn it full cycle, and you know, just the utilities that people expect in crypto, like with staking and NFT staking. And then obviously we have got a roadmap where we can lead into and take us to the next level. But our platform is to build a community first and let that carry us through. And the way it's kind of started is very, very like positive, and we definitely believe we're on the road to that.
Yeah, and I have to reiterate, Sager. I mean, this is more of a family venture. This is something which is bringing people together, and it's something which is exciting, because this is something which has perhaps never happened before. And we've made so much progress in such a short time, and we're excited, and I think the people who are supporting us are excited, and this is going to go a long way.
I did
Yeah,
want to chat a little bit about kind of the starting phase, because a lot of the times people are somewhat hesitant when there's, especially in these market conditions, when there's a private sale. But I think you guys have put in some good kind of guidelines to help with the sustainability in the floor in the early stages. So would you be able to walk us through a little bit about the private sale vesting rules and everything like that you have in place for the project?
yeah, sure. Obviously, with it being a fair launch, it was. We wasn't obviously sure how well with market conditions and the way everything lined up with a little turn in the market just before we launched, and that week was very positive. It kind of all aligned, so maybe it was meant to be. But obviously, with market conditions and stuff, you're never sure how it's going to be received, the project. So yeah, we did have a private sale before the pre-launch to get the initial funds to start the project and get everything in place for the launch. But with them private holders, we kind of came to an arrangement with them that they, as the pre-sale was kind of exploding, like it was. I mean, we were like 400 BNB in the first hour. And then it was only running for 24 hours, and then it got to like 1,000. So all the way, like we were kind of in touch with the private holders, and I'll go back to that briefly so people can understand. But obviously, a lot of projects they do a private round of funding, and they do it in a public way, so they never know who's kind of involved in the project, how low they're going to be, if they're a reliable floor. It's just open to the public just to raise the money. And we've experienced that before, and it kind of never worked. So when we got together, it was more of a. I mean, I don't know everybody on the private, but the team kind of, in some kind of way, knows through investing in other projects before, working together on other projects and what have you. So we got a private round of funding from people that we've invested with before and kind of know what kind of investors they are. And I can safely say that they are diamond hands. I know it's a cliche kind of saying. They are diamond hands. They are very much for the project and the longevity of it. So no one's there with intentions to kind of like kill the project early on by taking like profits and I mean, everyone deserves to take profits, but to do it responsibly is more to the point. And we so as it was getting more and more crazy, we initially started off with a private release of their tokens. It was based over 20% at launch, and then 20% every week until they received all their tokens. So in a period of like 4 to 5 weeks, they would have had all their tokens. But as it got more and more obvious that this pre-sale was just like blowing up, we actually went back to them, and they initially at 400 BNB, they changed their vesting to 10% at launch and then 10% every week after that. And then when it got to 1,000, there was a lot of the community asking about the private, and so we reached out to them again, and it was a bit difficult over a period of like 36 hours with different time zones and what have you, and some people we didn't actually get hold of, but like the majority, like probably 95% of them, we've reached out to them, and basically they agreed to come up with and go beyond, just to prove that they've got good intention about the project and they're here for the long haul. So they changed their vesting period to 10% every 2 weeks, and their first allocation is actually tomorrow. So they never actually received any tokens on launch. So anyone fearing that the private sales will dump at launch, so their first allocation is a week after launch, and every 2 weeks after that. They've also agreed to, so that's going to take a period of roughly about 4 months to receive all their tokens, which is amazing considering it was a month before that. And this is something they put together and agreed, kind of amongst themselves, and a few conversations going back and forward. Also, when they do get some of their tokens, they've agreed to have some selling rules, which basically what we've come up with is they're only allowed to sell a maximum of 25 million tokens per day. And when you think pre-sale, that was less than one BNB. Pre-sale has got 32 million tokens. So less than one BNB on the pre-sale price. They can only sell on the second green candle on a 2-hour chart. And there's penalties if anyone breaks the rules. So the first offence, if they break the rules, the private sale holder will lose the next 10% allocation. It will be burnt. And if anyone breaks the rules again, they will lose the rest of their bag, and that will be burnt as well. And this is something that over a period of like 36 hours, backwards and forwards, they kind of came up with it and were happy to go along with it. And yeah, I mean, they went beyond what we could have ever hoped for, and I think the response from the community. I mean, the community were in shock how far the private holders actually went. So this is what we try and get the message across, that we've been investors before. We understand what the kind of things the concerns you have and the fears that you have, and we've tried to iron out as many of them as we possibly can, like transfer taxes from wallet to wallet. You know, there's no transfer taxes. You know, I mean, loads of little niggly things that would bother you as an investor. We've tried to iron them out as much as possible. And then obviously with the help of the private holders to create that vibe that this isn't a 1 week pump and dump kind of project. You know, this is something that they believe in, where we can get to. They're happy to put their tokens where their mouths are, and they're happy to agree to these kind of vesting and selling rules. And that then transcends through the community, and they think, well, hold on 1 second, these people, like, they, they must really believe in the project, and to agree to something like that. Everyone's had their tokens from pre-sale, and obviously after launch they can buy and sell and do as they please. And the private sellers haven't even received any tokens yet. So yeah, I mean, I can only say thank you to all the private holders, and I hope the community see that what we're trying to achieve is to have that feeling of trust that we are here for the long run, and we are going to do everything we can to fulfill the potential of the project.
Perfect. I love that answer, and I just wanted to have you walk through it because sometimes it's met with negativity when restrictions are put in place on holders. But I think with what you're trying to build up, I do think as long as it's the marketing, the growth, the community sentiment stays intact, I don't think people from the early stages have issues with that, right? So again, you guys have locked in some really cool partnerships. You guys have a big marketing push planned over the next couple of weeks. So again, that should be something that private seller or private holders are happy about in this situation, as opposed to some others where I know you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, where you feel sometimes restrictions are put on and the team isn't doing anything to deliver on the back end, whereas you guys have clearly in the early stages and going forward have a good plan in place. And that's
a lot of the time it's impossible to even have that conversation with private holders, because some people just don't want to communicate, and some people are just not really interested. They're interested in the quick buck, and see what they can get. But they were very happy to not even get tokens on launch. They believe in what we're doing, and then obviously following through on the promises we made them as well. So yeah, I mean, hopefully that feeling gets across to everybody that we're all in it for the long run, and that's definitely what we're trying to achieve now.
Perfect. And covered Burns. Just running through my mental checklist. I think we've kind of touched on all the major components, and obviously my focal point is the same as you guys, is the community first and figuring out how you guys are going to keep that vibe going, and through the different kind of answers that you've given throughout the AMA. And I know what brother and his team are really he's been talking to me for a couple of days. I just have been offline, and I came back online to 18 messages all about Lunatics. Just he's extremely excited about what you guys are doing over there. So it's personally for me something that I'm just happy to be a part of, and happy our community was able to learn about this one early and jump in if they were looking to in the fair launch, or even kind of follow you guys along to this point. Because I know from talking to community members throughout, May till now, I know we did have a number of community members. So even if it was smaller investments, were invested in some form of the Terra ecosystem, the Luna ecosystem there. So I remember telling you guys the story, I think when we were in your VC, about that poker player who just recently won the World Series of Poker main event. He lost over $1 million with the collapse of the Luna ecosystem. Not all from Luna specifically, but he was in 4 or 5 different projects within the ecosystem. And lost over $1 million, had to quit playing high stakes poker. People will be like, "Oh no, he had to quit." But I mean, if that's your life, right? If that's like what you do for a living, that's a tough blow, right? So it was cool. He took a shot. He actually took out a small loan to go to the World Series, and he was able to win. And he won $10 million in that. So for anybody,
the stars aligned for him, didn't they?
Yeah. So like that's really cool. And I think you guys, again, it's just it's looking for positive signs out of something negative that happened. And I know that's how you guys kind of came together. And it's just been really cool to see these first 6 days. And I'm excited to see what the future has in store.
Yeah, it's very exciting, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, like that for that guy, the kind of stars aligned. We were kind of ready maybe 10 days before we launched, and we kind of just held off for some reason, and we just wanted to touch on a couple of things, and we could have gone then, and maybe it would have been the right time. It just does feel like this kind of stars aligned for when we did decide to go, and yeah, I mean, everything's just been amazing ever since. I mean, nothing's guaranteed. We don't know what's around the corner. But if we can just carry on building on the platform we've created already, then it's only positive vibes ahead.
Perfect. Well, I would love to start opening it up if you guys are ready to some community questions here and start getting some hands in from members of the community, start getting some questions asked. So I know Buck's already sent a few. I know we had a good one here from, Crypto Mardix. His question was just about the dead wallet. Will the dead wallet address, or will you guys change where it's done? Where that percentage of the tax is going after all the burns are completed?
Sorry, with regards
after all of what burned, you talking about Luna Classic, or you talking about Lunatics?
I will ask for specification. Give me 1 second. We'll maybe get to that question once I have a.
Well, we can cover both anyway. We can with regards to our token, we did burn 10% at launch. We also got a 1% auto burn of our own token on every transaction. So I mean, that's on at the minute. We can control that as when we please. Obviously, it's something that needs to be managed over time. But yeah, we are hyperdeflationary. With regards to the burn wallet that we obviously send the Terra to, we buy and send it to the Terra network to their dead wallet. So obviously it affects the token supply. And so far we've sent 300 million with today's burn as well. So well on the way to grabbing that number 1 spot.
Perfect. Well, I mean, I'm excited to see what the next couple of burns look like, and hopefully if they don't have anything in their pipeline, you guys are able to take that spot. And again, the community will be able to, it's about having messaging to push around, right? And that I think is, again, a really positive thing that the community can now get behind once you achieve that and start spreading that around. It's going to just get more and more attention on the project, and it'll be positive in nature. So that's awesome. So yeah, his question was more about the Lunatic side, and I appreciate you touching on both there for
Yeah, nice.
Then we got Jitters here. We'll get Jitters in for a question.
on Sunday we will burn the 250 million that we need to get to that number one spot. So we will be going into next week number one top burner of Luna Classic in just over a week.
So that's just another, and that should align as well with some of the big marketing that you guys have planned over the next couple of weeks too.
Exactly. We want that conversation about burning Luna to any person that talks about burning Luna, they won't be able to have that conversation without mentioning lunatics. And that's the kind of thing that we want to achieve. So to create that awareness and, you know, and have that conversation started throughout that whole community.
Perfect. So I think I got Jitters there unmuted. Jitters, if you're ready, you can go ahead with your question.
Hey, what's up, Maurice? How's it going, man?
Good. I hope you're having a good day over there.
Yeah, pretty good out here. It's I guess it's 7:21 p.m. in the evening.
Nice time.
Great. So, actually, I got a question for the lunatics. The name is kind of like funny, lunatics. So I was actually thinking if it's related to Luna, but it's not. So I want to know if there's gonna be a utility system like a mining strategy. You know, Luna as a coin, like they were stable before, but now they went down because of the market. So I want to know if they're gonna have something like a mining strategy to kind of like compensate your NFT, so that the NFTs would and the tokens actually would not lose value based on the bearish market, or based on some drop in prices of the dollars or something like that. So they asked if they have a mining strategy to well make the token get to a coin aspect as Luna was before. Then maybe that could be able to be a support to the NFTs and their tokens. So I want to know if they're gonna have that mining strategy for the.
Do you want to take that, 17?
Yeah, that's something that we can actually explore down the road. Again, we're only like 7 days old, so anything that anybody throws out at us is basically going to be explored at this point. Because I mean, I know we have NFTs that we're going to be coming out with, possibly NFT staking if we can get all of that squared away, and then regular staking. But NFT mining or something like that, I mean, all of those types of things can be explored, and we'll definitely look into that.
So that's pretty awesome, because I heard the story of Luna. I know a lot of people lost a lot of money, and in fact, Binance had to take Luna away from the platform, right? So because of all of these problems, I want to know if your project is gonna be a lunatic to Luna. So so I want to know if it's gonna
we're
be
not
stable.
affiliated directly with Luna, but obviously the community here is trying to obviously build the token in its own right, but obviously come together and help another community and bring them on board. We're actually helping, in a sense, expand the Luna community as well, because whether you're a holder already of Luna, or you're coming on board on Lunatics and you're not a holder yet, we will make you a holder through your rewards. So it expands the Luna community, and it also gives them a vested interest in what we're doing. So, you know, it's bringing everyone in and trying to give us all the same pools and the same reason why we're here. So yeah, I mean, we're here to try and do as much as we can for that community, but obviously we've got no direct affiliation with Luna.
Cool, beautiful stuff. That's a great utility you guys have there on the project, and it's kind of like makes the project stand on its own, right? It gives the investors your ample reason to trust in your project. So it's beautiful. It's awesome. Well done, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Can I step in real quick? Yeah. So, hey man, projects is doing real good. especially like in this time, I think it has potential to stick around for a while. One thing, and speaking of for a while, so when with the community, I was reading through your white paper and your website. You guys were talking about how you're attracting a group of like-minded people. Where like, how are you attracting a certain type of group of people to your project? Because now I ain't saying this is y'all, but a lot of people are saying like, we're the next Sheeb. Their community was strong. We got to build a strong community, but no one ever actually like knows how to get a certain group of people to be with them and be loyal. Like, how you guys do that?
Yeah. Well, we got to touch a nerve, and I think that's exactly what we're doing. I mean, when it comes to Sheba, I mean, I know the Sheba community, and especially right now, I believe it's a very fractured community. Some, especially, I mean, you talk about them wanting to burn. They've got this huge supply. There's people that want to burn. There's people that don't want to burn. They want to create a huge ecosystem with like Sheba being a currency. The way it's run with a certain hierarchy of people that are running the show. I just think it's very fractured. When it comes to the Luna community right now, they are hurting, and I think everybody, whether it was within Luna or in other projects, we've all experienced that kind of hurt. When something crashes, when something leaves you devastated. And it's happened many times in different projects. Obviously, Luna's got a huge community, and you've got to really touch a nerve. And being part of that Luna community before this project, I know how it felt. I lost a lot of money personally, and it kind of leaves you wondering, what am I actually like doing in the space? And then, that's why I bring it around to restoring a bit of faith and everyone pulling together and for the right reason and have a cause. And we know how powerful it is when a group of people have a cause. It's infectious. And the more people that we kind of like transcend our message to and stay true to what we want to achieve, then again that becomes infectious through the community and they spread the word. It becomes like self-marketing. You don't really need to spend money on marketing because people are talking about you, and when there's a cause behind it, a reason to be doing it, it's very, very powerful. And I think the people that are already here are feeling that, and they're already doing the work of spreading the awareness. And we just need to carry on following through with our promises. And, if someone doesn't let you down, you believe in them. So that's what we want to achieve. We don't want to let our investors down, the people that come to the project and become holders. And if they see that, they'll feel that, and then they'll spread the word. And then, you become even more powerful. You have to touch a nerve somewhere. And I think it's very difficult if people haven't got a real reason to be doing something.
Got you, man. Hey, was it expensive to get to where you're at, like in terms of your community?
Obviously, we had a private round of funding, a good idea. Expensive, probably not fortunes, like kind of like in some other projects getting together with the technology behind it. But we believe the idea and the kind of cycle about the burning Luna and getting that Luna community, and then creating, extending that family, and have given them a vested interest. That in itself is powerful. A utility is something that draws holders to a project. Now, it could be some high tech kind of thing, or it could just be a diamond idea that brings people together. We're not the high tech end of it, but we are an amazing idea that's going to bring an amazing family together and a really powerful community. So off the back of that, then we will then transcend and take it to the next level and become more than a meme token. But we've all got to start somewhere, and sometimes just a great idea is all you need.
All right, man. Appreciate it, dude. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, D. So we're going to get Adiola in here for a question. Don't know if we've ever heard from them before. How's it going today, Adiola?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, how's it going today?
Maybe lost.
How's everyone doing?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for coming out today. You can go ahead with your question whenever you're ready, Adiola.
I have a few questions to ask. Um, okay, I just wanted to ask what is the main? Okay, yeah, I just wanted to ask what is the main purpose for this token, and why should I get this token as an investor?
Are you part?
Did you get my question?
Are you part
Yeah,
of the
no.
Luna community already?
Okay.
Well, there's two reasons.
Did you get my question?
There's two reasons to maybe invest in this project. Obviously, once you're here and you see what we're doing, I think any investor would want to be a part of it. But,
Hello.
hello.
Yeah, Adiola, he's answering the question. I'm not sure if you're having some network issues.
Yeah, so there's two reasons. I think obviously I think I've touched both of them, but as part of the Luna community, then there's obviously already a vested interest. I've also invested in other projects where what the idea behind the community I wasn't already a part of, but then as a normal investor, you want to see the value that something brings. Now, if I was looking into this project and not had a vested interest in Luna already, I would see the value of that community and how powerful that could be, and the utility that we're using to draw on that community. If it kind of really gets through that community and they all come on board and they see what we're doing, because there's no resistance right now, in the sense that the whole community wants to burn. It's not like Shiba where there's different factions and people. Like the Luna community, in the Luna Classic community especially, all they want to do now is burn. Even with the vote and for the 2.0, the majority of people didn't want that to happen. So, but they went ahead with that, and now they're left with this supply to burn through. So the whole community as a whole wants to burn. Now, I can see the power in that if I'm not a holder of Luna already, and see if they all come on board and slowly the momentum picks up and they come onto the Lunatics project. That in itself is going to create huge volume and take this project, to, we don't know, but the possibilities are endless. So as an investor on receiving rewards, just the rewards basis, I can see the value of all them people coming on board. So that's why, but then that's why we also chose not to give maybe BNB or a different token. We chose to give Luna Classic, because then it kind of brings it full circle where they're receiving the rewards, so they're earning their dividends on their investment. We follow through with all the promises. We pump this token and create a huge community, and then they've got that vested interest as well. So it kind of brings everything full circle and everyone together. So I hope that answered your first question.
Yeah, no, I just put Adiola on mute just so you could get through the answers. I'm just trying to find her. I think I found her down there in the chat. So I'll get her off mute again. So Adiola, hopefully that answered your first question there. Sorry, I just threw you on mute so we wouldn't get that delay anymore. I've got dropped. So I got a question in here from this one's from Razor. So what would happen in the event that Luna Classic had a crash? Would there be kind of a backup plan or something that you guys have in the pipeline to potentially survive or try and deflect some of the impact? And then the second question is, what are you planning to do for anybody potentially lost a huge amount of money, could prove they lost, a large chunk in the Luna downfall? Is there any kind of I guess kind of questions about like a contribution or a fund that maybe the community would put together for individuals affected? I don't know if that's something that you guys have thought of, but
yeah, I mean,
that's how I would kind of interpret the question.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that that kind of question. I mean, like I said, obviously a lot of people were devastated in the crash. So to try and do something individually is probably something very difficult. But as a community, I mean, it's very early stages, and like I said, we're only 6 days old. But as this community becomes stronger, and hopefully the project grows to a point that we can definitely, create or start some initiatives to kind of help in a charitable kind of way, then yeah, that's definitely something we've already spoken about. How we will do that to help a community where, I mean, how would you would go about it? But definitely starting some kind of charitable initiative is something that we've spoken about. But again, right now, our main objective is to stabilize this project so we can get to them steps. It's very easy to promise a million different things right now, but in this space, you know how quickly things change, and we want to be here for the long term. And to make promises for the long term, when we need to just stabilize and make sure the project's here for the short term, is quite difficult. But definitely the intentions are there to try and help as much of that community with some kind of charitable initiative. Yeah.
Perfect. So, Rays, I really appreciate your question there, dudes. We're going to try and get George Light in here for a question. Hopefully, your mic's okay for you today, George. And we got one or two good ones here from the community that was sent. I'll get those covered as well. And we can get the closing statements started there, gentlemen. But a lot of information covered, and can't wait until the rest of the marketing comes in. I know you guys, I mean, brother sent me a snapshot. I'm not going to give it away, but I know it's something to be excited for. So people just don't ask, please, when's marketing? Just, stay active in the group and follow along.
When by
That never works.
Well, I thought that was hilarious because, I worked in that industry before I came into crypto. And when I first joined groups, it'd be like that funny garbage can gift that everybody would post. They'd be like, yo, when marketing, or, who do I DM proposal? And everyone's just like the trash can gift. I thought that was like the funniest thing when I first came in. It's just like, guys, just, be patient. Companies don't come out and say, hey guys, we spent all this money on a marketing campaign. Like, wait, you just start seeing ads roll out and you're like, oh, they're dropping a new product. That's pretty cool.
Well, the community actually know when we spend money on marketing, because just one more kind of layer of transparency. We've got multi-sig wallets for marketing and the burn of Luna Classic. So the funds go into them wallets and the whole community can see what's there. And when we obviously sign off to pay something, it takes at least 4 of us to sign off a transaction. So, and the community's been given access to all their multi-sigs to view what we're doing. So, I mean, they would have seen a huge payment go out yesterday. So they know something's in the pipeline. They see things dropping every day. So yeah, it's as transparent and as clear as we can be without literally showing them timetable.
Perfect. I appreciate. So George, I don't know if you wanted to jump in there. I think I saw your mic pop on, but I'm not sure if you're having some issues today. Oh, George Light. Did get a good one here from Kimono. I heard from her since back in May, so I'm kind of interested. Okay, maybe get that question in. So her question's just, what's your strategy for ensuring that you guys have adequate liquidity should you choose to push the larger exchanges in the future? As you guys continue to push into the mainstream Luna community and potentially adoption grows. So that's their question, is about the exchange liquidity upon future growth.
Do you want to take that, 17? Or?
Yeah, of course we want to move into exchanges, but then as far as having liquidity, of course, I mean, we would need those funds to be able to do that. Because, sometimes those things cost money. So, we're going to take that cost benefit analysis approach. Hey, as far as where we go, what we do, how much we spend, different things like that. And just try to take our time with it, of course, because we're trying to be here for a long time. We're not trying to just dump everything all at once and then we have to try to build back up, right? So we're just gonna take that approach and just try to keep this thing going for as long as possible.
So I just wrote a quick thank you there to Kimono. Thanks, Kimono, for your question. I hope that answers that. By the way, George mentioned he's trying to reset to get his headset. George, any luck over there? Nothing. So we do have a few others here unmuted. Argonaut, Killer Whale, Timeout. You guys had questions or anything? You guys obviously could jump in. Just don't speak over one another. George's question here. He said, yeah, he's having issues. He asked, can one switch between the different staking options you might provide? Let's say, for example, under the 1 week option, you haven't finished your stake, but you wanted to switch to the 1 month package. I would assume you'd do that. Maybe the project starts doing really well. You know it's going to be around for a longer period of time. What is there a penalty? That's his question. And then I have a question actually to follow up that.
Well, we haven't started staking yet. Well, we haven't started staking yet, and we're still in discussions about how we want to actually run each pool. That's a great idea, especially when we get to bigger, higher market caps for people to be able to switch in and out as they please. But that's another thing that we can possibly explore, so just be on the lookout for something like that.
I think with the reward system, the way it is, it's there's different types of investors. You've got investors that are happy to kind of stick with a rewards program. They understand that it's volume based. It's obviously may decrease or may increase depending on the pool size and the hold account that dilutes the pool. Now, obviously, increased hold account also means increased volume. It could go both ways. But then there's different types of investors that kind of like knowing what they're going to receive, like APY and happy with staking platforms, and you kind of get that balance between the rewards pool and the staking pool. So I think it's definitely required for people to have as many options as possible because there are different types of investors.
Perfect. So, George, I hope that answers your question. My follow-up on that is a little bit more along the lines of for maybe some of the longer options you guys may look to provide, depending on the way that you go about it. Considering that Luna as a project and as a network was established very much to people as something long-term, something more of an investment, especially the way that it pulled in, real world money, investments, even from some hedge funds and some capital funds around the globe. People did kind of view it a little bit differently than they view most crypto. So kind of playing off of the question on staking is, would there be the potential for maybe if you guys have like a 3 or a 6 or even like a 12-month lock period, should somebody need to unstake or should somebody need to maybe get money because things do come up in life that sometimes people don't project, would you guys consider adding the ability to sell your position or sell your stake, maybe at a small gain to another individual for that amount so that the negative sell-off doesn't occur within the chart or within the project? But like even like say they have a big amount staked, even if there is a 10% fee, like 90% on a big amount is still going to negatively impact the project, right? So if you can sell that instead of taking 10% for the ecosystem and then still seeing like a 90% impact.
Yeah, I mean for something long-term options, that's definitely something to consider. Because, I mean, the last thing you want is a negative impact on the chart, but then the last thing you want is people trapped when, like you said, things come up in life, and to have that option there, to be flexible, we don't want to, add to the problems by, not giving people them kind of options. You know, we're here to try and create a project which is here to try and put as many things in place. Like I said, all the pet hates that we have of projects, and that will probably be one with staking. You know, sometimes you need to get to your money, and then you realise that it's just not attainable. So yeah, everything we can do to make it as flexible and as user friendly as possible. Every utility that we create is definitely going to have that emphasis.
Yeah, no, I thought that just might be something, especially on the longevity side, that it could help with the staking.
I mean, we're already trying as well, you know, because as a rewards program as well, and you know, most projects these days that charge taxes to achieve their objectives, it's obviously the standard procedure is to obviously sell them back into the contract, selling it like on its own chart. We're already trying to put things into place and trying to alleviate that and use, you know, going the direction of using a swap that, you know, alleviates all the chart sales and directs the funds back to the project in like a stable coin or fiat currency. So we're really trying to, we're actually in talks to try and put that in place already.
Perfect. And then we'll get maybe Crypto Hunter in here for the last one live, and then we can do maybe one or two more here, and then we'll wrap up if that's cool, guys. Sorry,
Yeah,
I've seen some decent ones coming through. Haven't had too much overlap, so I'll do one or two more. So yeah, what's going on, Crypto Hunter? If you're ready.
Like a tech issue day.
Yeah, even my Telegram has been really bad.
Mine was lagging as well before. I was like, I didn't think I was going to
I got kicked trying to start the call on my phone, and then I had to do it on my laptop. My laptop was at like 7%, so it was super slow trying to load or post or do anything. And then to re-pull it up on my phone, and I saw Buck just got kicked, my coordinator. So I'm like, oh god.
Well, BSC scan has been terrible the past week as well. I mean, everything's like.
No, you noticed that too? Like,
oh my
obviously
God.
with us, you know, taking payments and stuff, it's been a nightmare.
Everything. I sent a payment the other day and I'm waiting.
You guys pulling out for marketing and stuff too. You're probably like, oh my god, can this stuff speed up?
I sent 38 Vs a couple of days ago and it just never landed. It wasn't good. I was just.
Hey, Hunter, are you there? Oh, I was getting a lot of background noise. Couldn't really hear him well. Try and maybe. He's got a mic. I know that works. We'll try Sir Chief. I know his mic is typically pretty reliable. Haven't heard from him in a few days too. So that one's kind of been covered. That question George was happy with. Hey, what's up, Chief?
How you doing?
Good. It's been a couple of weeks since we've heard from you.
Yeah. I don't know who reported my account, and it was banned.
You got put in TG jail. Classic.
Yeah.
So that's it.
He's a free man now.
Sir, welcome back.
Oh, I think TG is lagging. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yep, we got you okay now. You're good again. You can go ahead with your question. Just happy to have you back.
Yeah. Most of my questions have been answered. I just wanna congratulate the Lunatic team. How you guys are doing? You guys are really doing well. You guys have a very nice project. But where are you going to be looking at your project the next 3 months and 4 months? Where exactly do you think your project will be in the next 3 months?
Well, in the next 3 months, obviously, our initial rollout of all utilities should be, well in advance and running. Obviously, the traction that we hope we would have picked up from now till then, definitely we see us being market cap wise, I mean, already we're 5x from launch. So, I mean, I don't want to take nothing away from that, but a 4 million market cap, where I honestly believe this could be, at least 10x from that, and stable. I mean, all the stuff that we've got planned with, rollouts of, kind of the things that kind of build on a community, like merch is coming. We've got exchanges that are in the pipeline and we're speaking to it right now. So, I mean, the foreseeable future definitely looks bright. We've definitely got things already lined up and kind of just initiating them, obviously, because we've got to 6 days and we're kind of ahead of our roadmap. Then we just want to kind of not rush too much, but kind of stabilize and make sure this project's here for the long run. So everything we have got planned, we are bringing forward. And we're going to just slowly tick off one by one what we want to achieve. And 3 months, we've definitely we should be on exchanges and much more stable and here for the long term with a huge community behind us.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, I was having some TG lag, so when the AMA was going on, I don't know if you guys must have talked about some challenges you guys have overcome. I think that always give investors more courage to invest in a project. Have you talked about that?
Before the project, you mean, or like, I mean, before the project, yeah, I mean the whole team has overcome, being involved in projects that, have left a scar. And that's probably one of the main reasons why we all got together. And since we've got together, we've worked hard before launch, like pre-launch, and we even faced adversity then as well. And we came through that. And we want that to transcend through the community, because we know how it feels to be on the other side. So we want to try and make the experience and coming on board as friendly and as user, the whole package, kind of like, we want everyone to feel part of something, and the team, especially, that when I say vocal, there's always someone around. There's enough of us. I mean, there is 10 of us, so we have got the hands on board to achieve what our goals, because the talent pool is big enough to cope with it, and we want people to definitely feel a part of it. And I definitely feel you can't feel a part of it if you don't feel part of the team, and the team are disconnected from the community. So our team is very much connected to the community so far. We make an extra effort to do that, because it's very difficult sometimes when things may not be going right, or it might be a tough time in the market, or even just a tough time in the project, and there's no one there to get that that message across, or that question, or you want to feel a bit reassured that something is going on in the background. It's not just a dead VC. No one's answering questions. No one's So like I said, they're all pet hates of ours that, as investors, we definitely noted and don't want to experience that again. So as much as we can, I mean, we're not perfect, but as much as we can, we will try and iron all of them things out. So, and try and connect to the community, and hopefully they feel that. And, like I said, that community grows because of that, because they do feel part of something.
Thank you very much, Maurice, for the opportunity.
Of course, man. Anytime. I'm glad to hear you're out of jail and you can join us again for some questions. So, yeah, it's been really fun to host you guys, and it's just been cool to see the growth of the community and the response, because, like you said, man, you don't have a crystal ball. I had an absolute blast hanging out with you in the VC, but you never know how people's sentiment, holding patterns going to be once thing goes live. And in the early stages, you guys have done a great job of building it up and getting people to want to be a part of the community and want to stick around. So I think that in this stage of a project is, one of the most important things. So great work from you guys as a team. And obviously huge shout out and huge kudos to your community and some of those individuals that did choose to jump in and are holding and supporting. And, there's some big news to coming down the pipeline in terms of obviously having that burn occurring on Sunday, potentially taking over the #1 spot. You guys are going to have a lot of marketing material to shill and push around. So, hopefully you got a couple hours free this weekend to be able to help push. And, it's something where it's a good combination of, community project in the early stages, but, you're playing off of something that had touched the lives of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people indirectly worldwide with what happened back in May. So I do think overall, I know like any project, guys, it's crypto. Jump in, get a feel for the community if you haven't already since when we first posted on the 20th, and just go from there. But great job in the early stages from you guys as a team, from the community, and from everybody to really help push this. And I'm excited to see what you have planned. So you guys will be able to, if you maybe missed some of the AMA today, or if you have additional questions, I know they're going to be active across a couple of other big channels for AMAs in the next few days. So just keep your eyes peeled in the Telegram for other announcements, that might be coming down the hopper. So just a lot of exciting things, I think, coming with this project. And it's all kind of focused around that growth of the community, word of mouth, and awareness right now. So you guys can definitely be impactful in that as community members. You can help out, push them around, share their socials if you are holding, kind of help contribute. So again, really appreciate it, gentlemen. I'll throw it over to you for closing statements, and just can't wait to see where you guys can keep pushing this.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to say thank you to yourself first of all, because obviously I know you played a big part in our pre-sale kind of explosion for sure, and spending that time with you on launch day. So yeah, very much appreciated. And yeah, just being able to reach out to the whole community and create the awareness that obviously we want this project to touch as many people. Like I said, whether you have got a connection to Luna or just in general, just fed up with the space. And kind of the stuff that sometimes it offers, and it affects all of us sometimes. So we are definitely offering something different here, we just want to build on that. And definitely our platform is community first. So if you do want to feel a part of something, just check us out. And I've got no doubt that after spending a bit of time with the community, and you can kind of see the direction that we're pulling in, then it's going to be something that we're all going to be proud of being a part of. I know that's the sentiment of the team. I want to say thank you to all the holders so far as well, that have jumped on board, the private holders as well, who've been exceptional. And thank you to the rest of the team who've worked highly this week, because it's been a tough week, but obviously very enjoyable. So yeah, just a big shout out to everybody, and thank you very much.
Thank you guys again for everyone taking the time. And as I always say, like, if you guys are ever running another VC on your channel for any of, I don't know if maybe you have one scheduled for that next burn on Sunday or anything, but let me know and I'd be happy to jump in, even if it's for like half an hour or something, just connect again with the community over there.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and just flip me a DM. I was off for a couple days this week, so next few days I'll be back and busy. So if you guys need anything, let me know. And again, one last time to the community, if you guys did jump in, if you're looking to do so, help out. One of the big driving forces here is, as Sega mentioned, although they're not affiliated with Luna, obviously that was a very heavily impacted community worldwide. So if they are able to grow and continue getting some recognition and eyes on the project, you might have an ability to pull in some of those holders. And as we've talked about throughout the presentation, obviously there's some big money, some real money invested in that project. So that would be some pretty good exposure. So if you are in the project, help out, get involved, shill, raid. They got a lot of marketing coming out the next little while. So, do your research still, guys, join the community. But again, they do have a lot coming out. So if you're there, be active and help the project out to push, because in this type of project, to get eyes of that type of investor and that type of community, you need to make enough noise and you need to do it the right way. So if you're in the project, if you're holding, if you're in the community, stay active on this to help the team out. That's kind of how I'll close out. But again, guys, just thank you so much for a great presentation. Great job with the Q&A, lots of information, and lots for people to be excited about in the next couple of weeks over there. So best of luck, boys.